Hello students, welcome back. So today we'll be switching to the next topic of matrices, which is the inverse of a matrix. Now the concept of inverse is also very useful and very important. So what do we really mean by an inverse? I'm sure this concept at least most of you must be knowing. When we talk of inverse, as we know the inverse of a number, let me discuss in case of matrices only. A square matrix, you must be knowing what is a square matrix. A square matrix A is said to be invertible if there exists a matrix B satisfying this condition, that is AB equal to I equal to BA. So a square matrix A is said to possess an inverse or is said to be invertible if there exists a matrix B such that the product of both the matrices A and B comes out to be an identity matrix. B is called the inverse of reciprocal of A and is denoted by A inverse. This is the usual, how do we denote it? This is the usual way, right? Thus it means that A inverse is B if and only if AB is I is BA. So if we say that the inverse of A is B, that would mean the product AB comes out to be identity, which is the same as the product BA. For an involutory matrix, A square is I. Involutory matrix we have already discussed. A matrix which satisfies this property, that its square comes out to be identity matrix, is said to be involutory. So in case of involutory, we have A is A inverse. The inverse of A is same as A. How do we get this? In fact, you can write A square as A into A. This is equal to I. If I multiply both sides by A inverse, then we have I into A inverse. Now see, A into A inverse is I. We have already discussed if B is inverse of A, then the product AB is I. So A into A inverse is I. So I have A into I is A inverse. So I have A equal to A inverse. This is how we get it from the definition. So you need to remember, in case of involutory, its inverse is the matrix itself. Next, some important points, continuation. We have inverse A inverse of a matrix A has the property we have already discussed. A into A inverse is I, which is same as A inverse into A. A inverse exists only if determinant of A is non-zero. This is an important concept. Inverse of a matrix will exist if and only if its determinant comes out to be non-zero. If the determinant is 0, we cannot have the inverse of a matrix. In case of a singular matrix, A inverse does not exist. Singular matrix is one whose determinant is 0. Right? Determinant of A is 0, then a matrix is said to be singular. So since determinant comes out to be 0, as per my previous point, I have A inverse should not exist. Now how do we compute the inverse of a matrix? So if we are to compute the inverse of a matrix, the formula that is generally used is A inverse is adjoint of A divided by determinant of A. Just remember this formula, this is most important. Or you can have cofactor method of inverses, which is actually the same one. Like we have determinant of A, we divided by the determinant of A. Here also we have 1 by determinant of A. And adjoint A, as we have already discussed, is the transpose of the matrix of cofactors. So this is another way of writing the formula. Okay, cofactor method for inverses. The formula says 1 by determinant A into matrix of cofactors ka transpose. So we have C11, these are the cofactors. C11 is the cofactor of A11, right? So we have, after taking the transpose, what do I get is C11, C21, Cn1, similarly C1n, C2 and Cnn. So this cofactors, this is after taking the transpose of cofactors, right? So divided by determinant of A will give me the inverse of matrix A. Now I have an example in this context. The example says calculate the inverse of the general matrix of order 2. So general matrix of order 2 I take is A, B, C, D. You are to calculate the inverse. So we first find out the cofactors of all the elements. because first we'll need to compute the cofactors, then we'll form the matrix of cofactors, then we'll take its transpose, and then finally we'll divide the quantity by the determinant in order to get the inverse, right? So we first find out the cofactors of each and every element. We get it as C11 comes out to be D. Similarly, C12 comes out to be minus C, and similarly we get C21, C22. Now A inverse is this is the formula. I write down the matrix of cofactors divided by the determinant and I get A inverse. This was quite simple. Okay, now we have a trick to compute the inverse of a 2 cross 2 matrix. Directly how to compute the inverse of a 2 cross 2 matrix, right? If you remember, we discussed this concept in the previous session also, in that of adjoint. Similar trick holds true in case of inverse. So what do I do? First of all, calculate the determinant. Determinant is this into this minus this into this, so we get determinant as AD minus BC, right? Then what do? We swap the elements in the leading diagonal. So if you remember, what did I do in my previous session? I have a matrix A, B, C, D. In order to compute its adjoint, what we did was we interchanged these two elements, right? First interchange the main diagonal elements and then negate the rest of the elements in order to get the adjoint of a 2 cross 2 matrix. Similarly, in order to compute the inverse, what we do is, first of all, you compute the determinant. That is simple, you can directly get it as AD minus BC. Then you swap these two elements, right? After swapping, you negate these two elements, and then finally you divide the whole quantity by the determinant. See, after negating, you will get this matrix, and then finally you multiply this quantity by determinant in order to get this is A inverse. This is quite simple. Okay, now we have some important properties of inverse of a matrix. The first property says A inverse is equal to A. If you find out the inverse of an inverse of a matrix, that will come out to be the matrix itself. This is quite simple. In fact, it is obvious too. Okay, this is important. This proves useful in various questions. The inverse of product AB is equal to B inverse into A inverse. When you have to compute the inverse of a product, always remember that that will be equal to individual inverses, but the order becomes opposite. What do I mean by that? If you are to compute AB inverse, then you will write B inverse into A inverse. It is not A inverse into B inverse, it is B inverse into A inverse. Do remember this. Next we have A transpose inverse is equal to A inverse transpose. This property just means that if you find out the inverse of a transpose of a matrix, or you compute the transpose of inverse of a matrix, the result is always the same. Next we have lambda into A whole inverse is equal to 1 by lambda A inverse. Lambda is a scalar. So if you find out the inverse of a matrix A multiplied by lambda, what you can do is you can take out 1 by lambda. This is in fact lambda inverse. So we write down 1 by lambda that into A inverse. This is quite obvious. Inverse of a matrix is always unique. This is important. If you have two inverse, suppose I get B and C as inverses of A, then B is always equal to C. Okay, continuation of properties. We have inverse of a non-singular symmetric matrix is symmetric. The inverse of a symmetric matrix will always come out to be symmetric. Similarly, inverse of upper or lower triangular matrix is again upper or lower triangular matrix. Next we have is if A1, A2, AK are all invertible. Invertible means all of them possess inverse. So is the product A1 into A2 into AK. This property basically says that if we have A1, A2, AK and all of them possess the individual inverses, then the product A1 into A2 into so on AK will also be invertible. And again, if you remember, as in case of 2, we had A into B. Similarly, A1 into A2 into AK whole inverse will be equal to AK inverse into AK minus 1 inverse, so on A1 inverse. The order becomes opposite, right? First we will have the last element inverse of last, then so on till A1 inverse. Next we have is, if A is non-singular, then we define A raised to minus n is equal to A inverse whole raised to n. This is also quite obvious, follows from previous properties only. Okay, now I have an example which is important because I'm sure most of you commit such kind of mistakes in exams, right? Find the inverse of the given matrix. This is a simple 2 cross 2 matrix. So I'm sure 90% of you would do is you would start computing the determinant, and then you'll find out maybe some of you will directly swap out the element, diagonal element, then you'll negate the rest of the elements and you'll say this is the resultant inverse, but that would be wrong. Just remember, first thing that you need to have in case of inverse is that you need to check whether the determinant is non-zero or not, right? So check, this is the main thing, check the determinant first. So if I check out the determinant, it comes out to be minus 4 into minus 4, that is 16, minus 8 into 2, that is 16, that is 0. Determinant of A is equal to 0 if I take this matrix as A, which means inverse does not exist, right? So your question ends here. This saves your time as well. You don't need to do anything. If the determinant is not existing, then if the determinant comes out to be 0, then the inverse cannot exist, right? Okay, now we have a 3 cross 3 matrix and you have to find out the inverse of this matrix. We know the formula for inverse is A inverse is adjoint A divided by determinant of A. So what you can do is, first find out the adjoint of A. How do you find out the adjoint of A? You will have to find out the cofactor of each and every element. You take this element, find out the cofactor, cancel these rows, then this minus this. You must be knowing by now. So construct the matrix of cofactors, take its transpose, that will give you the adjoint. Then divide the adjoint by determinant of A, that will give you the inverse. After computing all this, you will get the inverse of A as this. Now you can also in fact check out whether your answer is correct or not. How do you do that? We know A into A inverse should come out to be identity. So what you can do is you write down A 3 2 2 4 3 3 4 4 5, and the A inverse we have obtained is 3 minus 2 0 minus 8 7 minus 1 4 minus 4 1. Find out this product. Okay, in fact, how do you find out this product? I'll recall that also. 3 into 3, that gives 9, minus 8 plus 0. This into this plus this into this plus this into this will give me my first element, right? So similarly you can find out each and every element. This in fact is equal to 1. So similarly after computing, this product will come out to be 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1, which is identity. If you get the product as identity, then your answer is correct, and if you don't, that would mean that there is some mistake in your answer, right? So this is the method of checking your inverse. This is quite obvious if you know this property. Okay, so that was it for this session, and the concepts were quite simple, but do practice a good number of questions on finding inverses, because that will help you improve your speed as well, and that is important for competitive exams. Do stay tuned for my future sessions. We'll be switching to the system of equations in the next session, right? Thank you.